Association members, award nominees, residents, and guests. We are delighted tonight to celebrate with you the inspiring contributions of industry staff, residents, and volunteers. Are you guys ready to get pumped up by former Patriot Scott Zolak tonight? With Zoe as our keynote speaker, it's a good time to check in on taking the temperature on how you're feeling about Boston sports with a couple questions for the audience. So how many of you are still waiting for the Patriots to get a real starting tight end to replace Gronk? I mean, come on, let's go. And how many are planning to head home right after this ends to watch the Bruins game? How many of you recorded the game so you can patiently watch each award winner and not feel rushed to get out? Because that just means you'll fast forward through more commercials when you get home. Those are the first award winners tonight that I want to encourage everybody to emulate, because we're lucky enough that often this awards dinner is in the playoff season for some Boston teams. So I would like to take this opportunity to thank our wonderful staff who worked so hard planning and executing this event so we could all have a great and uplifting time. Would the MassAlla staff please stand and be recognized? Where are you? There they are. You all know Martha Chamberlain, who was just up, manager of membership, Christina Greenberg, manager of marketing and communications, and Natalie Hunt, our office manager. And I am pleased to introduce to you our new Director of Education. Some of you may already know her as the Executive Director of Christopher Heights of Webster, formerly. Please give a warm round of applause for the staff and a warm welcome to Laurie Cashman. And thanks as well to our consultants who are here this evening. Up front, Bob Noonan. Bob is the real Boy Scout because he actually read Zolak's book before this event. Can you believe that? Second guy to ever do it. And also, our lobbyists are here tonight, Pierce Haley, Andrea Serlin, and Alia Salonis. And let's also give a big warm round of applause to the staff here at Lombardo's who have been so hospitable here tonight. Thank you. When I attended this awards banquet last year for the first time, I was truly so impressed, and I was honored to be joining MassAlla. I've observed many of these type of awards programs for associations over the years, and I'd like to share with you what sets apart MassAlla's awards dinner from those I've seen in other industries, because it's something that we should all be very proud of. This awards program recognizes every level of position at the residences, from all levels of staff to residents to community volunteers, and that inclusion is a very positive reflection broadly of the culture of assisted living in Massachusetts and that of this association. And that being said, as you know, working in communities, there's always room for improvement, right? So something else we noted from last year's dinner was that, and I shared with the board of directors in January when we discussed the awards, was that there was one level of staff we had not yet recognized in this program of awards, and that is the industry leaders who had dedicated themselves to and shaped assisted living in a way that all of us have benefited from in some way. So we created a new award this year, the Lifetime Achievement Award, to recognize those leaders and visionaries. The Lifetime Achievement Award honors an individual whose company or community is a MassAlla member and has had significant involvement working in the senior living industry. This prestigious award is given to a member of the senior living profession who has made significant and sustained contributions to this industry through volunteering their time and distinguished service on behalf of the industry at large. Some examples of these contributions are development of new types of residences or resident activities, developing new models for industry growth, creating innovative programs that expand services and care for residents to live happier, longer, and healthier lives with respect and dignity. And someone who has shown true exemplary professional practice in assisted living leadership above and beyond their job requirements. Today, we are proud to present the inaugural Massachusetts Assisted Living Association Lifetime Award to Tom Grape, founder, chairman, and CEO of Benchmark. And Tom has been instrumental in founding, shaping, and growing the assisted living industry in Massachusetts and nationwide, enriching the lives of seniors and creating an overwhelmingly positive economic impact. He is widely recognized as one of the most influential executives in the industry today. In 1997, Grape founded Benchmark, now one of the Northeast's largest senior living providers with 58 communities in eight states. He is founding board member in 1990 and past board chairman of Argentum, which is the National Association for Assisted Living. He is founding board member of MassAlla, and no stranger to these first-time awards, as Tom was also awarded the first time that MassAlla gave the Leadership Award in 2003. In 1995, legislation that he and others helped write with then Secretary of Health and Human Services, Charlie Baker, to create the assisted living category in Massachusetts was signed by Governor William Weld. In 2017, Grape was tapped by, who was then the governor, Charlie Baker, to serve on the first ever Governor's Council to address aging. And in 2018, he was appointed by Baker to participate in the Massachusetts Healthcare Collaborative, a convening group of healthcare leaders across government, educational institutions, industry, and public organizations. So Grape is described by his colleagues as a disruptor, change maker, and thought leader for the entire assisted living industry. And throughout his career, he's continually pushed senior living leaders to think outside the box to improve the aging experience for all seniors. Under his direction, Benchmark developed smart room technology to help residents stay connected to one another and family members, and biometric safes to keep medication safe. It partnered with GE and the MIT Age Lab for the 2018 In Good Company Challenge to help drive aging innovation. And Grape's dedication has shaped assisted living and helped set the high standard of care for which the industry is known today. So amidst all that business activity within assisted living, we also wanted to recognize that he has served in the community as chair of the Board of Trustees for his alma mater, Ithaca College, where he is now chair emeritus, as vice board chair of Newton Wellesley Hospital, as president of the Board of Trustees for the Meadowbrook School, where he is now trustee emeritus, and on the vestry, and as chair of the building committee for Boston's historic and renowned Trinity Church. And so just to conclude by tying this all together to the overall event, and to demonstrate how this award ties with the overall theme and spirit of this awards event, one of Tom's proudest achievements is that his company is consistently named a best place to work, including being one of only 6 companies named to the Boston Globe Top Places to Work list every year of the 11 years it has been published, and for being selected in 2018 by Fortune magazine for its inaugural Best Workplaces for Aging Services list, as well as taking the number 16 spot on the list of the top 40 aging services companies, and ranking 3rd among companies with over 40 communities. Tom's most common refrain in recent years has been about elevating human connection, and it is most appropriate that he be recognized for his lifetime achievement here at an organization that he helped found, MassAlla, where we have a passion for doing exactly that. Tom, it is with great pleasure that we present you with the inaugural MassAlla Lifetime Achievement Award.
Thank you, Brian. That was very nice. I'd like to thank you and the members of the MassAlla board. I don't know, receiving a Lifetime Achievement Award makes me feel like I should either be dead or retired, and God willing, I won't be either for a long time to come. I'd like to first of all acknowledge my wife, Mary, for being here with me tonight, and my sister Judy, who traveled from far away to be with me. I consider my greatest lifetime achievements to be my two daughters, who I was hoping might be with me tonight, but they were not able to join. So, as Brian mentioned, I think this in a way is just one of those things where I just happened to sort of be there. About 30 years ago, I was one of the folks who was at the table. There was a group of folks who met at the offices, believe it or not, of the American Trucking Association in Washington, D.C., that ended up being the founding board of what was then Alpha, now Argentum. And I was on that board for 18 years and took a break, and I'm now back on that board, and I served as that chair. And shortly after that board was founded, we came here and decided, why don't we form a state chapter? And so MassAlla was Argentum's first state chapter. Some of the early folks involved in that founding were Bill Carney, John Chesley, who was a Ropes and Gray attorney who moved to San Francisco a number of years ago, Bob Larkin and Peter Mullen from Senior Living Residences, Paul Lanzikos, Ken Schwartz, who the Schwartz Center is named after, and I'm sure some others who I didn't mean to overlook. But I'd also like to acknowledge, if I could, the MassAlla board chairs, for whom we all owe a great debt of gratitude. Chris Cullen, the current board chair, Nancy Moore, Sharon Riccardi, Tom Alprin, Peter Mullen, Karen Anderson, Bob Larkin, Joan Hyde, and Jim Dunn have all done a wonderful job carrying the mantle of moving this organization forward. And I'd ask you to join me in thanking them for their work. When MassAlla was formed 30 years ago, it was not really about championing, was really about championing an idea. It wasn't about a level of care. It wasn't about a particular type of building. It was about a better way for seniors to live. And the idea was about a set of principles that were incontrovertible. They were so compelling. They were the kind of, they were the principles upon which assisted living was based. And they were what carried the day in passage of legislation very quickly, unusually quickly, to create a new category of senior housing that has served hundreds of thousands of people over the history of this last 30 years. What we created with this organization, gathered tonight, created 30 years ago, has served hundreds of thousands of seniors in our state in a residential, independent setting in a far more dignified way than they would have had available to them had this not existed. And it's those principles that were really the key idea. What we faced at that time were other trade associations who were simply trying to defend their turf. They were in a defensive mode, trying to hold on to what they had, as opposed to being proactive about advancing a better idea. MassAlla is at its best, and has been at its best over the last 30 years, when it is proactively advancing the better way. In recent years, advancing the common sense legislation, or the frail elder waiver, Medicaid waiver, or other ideas like that, is what has been MassAlla at its best. When we find ourselves defending turf, that is not where we want to be. When we find ourselves advancing proactive ideas that are about a better way for our seniors to live, that's what has distinguished MassAlla in its history and set us apart. And those are the moments that we have been proudest of, and should strive to keep being what distinguishes us as we go forward. As I look around the room tonight, I first of all would like to say how proud I am of my benchmark colleagues who are here tonight, and thank them all for being here, and go benchmark. But I actually have to say that I also want to acknowledge my respect for, I think the quality of assisted living we have in Massachusetts is higher than what most any other state that I'm familiar with has. And I think that's because of the quality of competitors that we have. To Jim and Wendy from Northbridge, to Larry from Epic, to Paul Casale from Welch, and many others who I just haven't happened to see this evening. We have great respect for what you all do and great admiration for the quality of what you provide. We learn from you guys, we respect you guys, and we're all, I think, better because of what each of us does. And I think Massachusetts seniors are better because of the overall quality of what is provided by the collective work that we do. I frequently say when I visit benchmark communities that our residents and families don't really either know or, more importantly, care what I do. I don't recall ever getting a letter, frankly, from a family member thanking me for what I do. They thank the folks in the communities for the special things that make them feel like our communities are a home, and that make them feel like their loved ones have been treated in a special way. So can I ask everybody here tonight who works in a community to please just raise your hand? In my mind, you guys are the ones who deserve the Lifetime Achievement Awards. You guys are the ones who make the experiences of the residents and family members special in your communities. And you guys are the ones who make this industry special and different, and the better idea that Mass-Ala was born on come to life. And so for me, I just feel like I was sort of lucky enough to be there early on, but it's all the folks who work in our communities that are the ones who deserve the Lifetime Achievement Award. And I feel like maybe I was there to set up the tent, but the performers, the folks who really make it happen, are all of you who work in the communities who deserve this award. I guess I felt like I ought to throw in a quote from somebody. Not that I've ever read Ralph Waldo Emerson, but somebody gave me a quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson. So here's a quote to close. The purpose of life is not to be happy, which when I read that, I was disappointed. He goes on to say, it is to be useful, to be honorable, to be compassionate, to have it make some difference that you have lived and lived well. And again, I would say to all of you who work in the communities, you deserve the Lifetime Achievement Awards. And if I could pass this to all of the folks who work in the communities, I would happily do so. Thank you for honoring me with this award tonight.